special town board meeting to discuss the preliminary 2022 town budget. Please rise and we'll pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. I just want to make one. Oh, that's yours. That's why I didn't see it. One opening comment just to let the people know what's happened. I received a email from the assessor with today's current taxable assessment for the town. And it was a reduction of $267,150. But that is only a 0.03% reduction, so it didn't change the tax rate. But I just wanted you all to know that that was done. Other than that, there were no changes in the documents you have. That was the only change I made. But, your choice. What are we going to do? You want to approve it right now? We'll just approve it and get ready for the next session. Any comments?
Well, I'm concerned about the fund balance being so low. You know, to me, the fund balance should really only be used in cases of emergency. And like I said, I'm concerned about, we're making estimates on values of taxes and mortgages and everything else, and now we're spending down our fund balance very significantly, and I'm just concerned. We're going to have expenses to do the reval at some point. We're going to have expenses to bring, you know, our tax code, our codes up to current once we finish all the zoning revision, and we're not taking into consideration for any of that, and I just think we're spending down too much of this fund balance.
A lot of the expense for this year came about from the $100,000 a year that we pay for the new trucks we just bought. I mean, I hate to keep mentioning, but, you know, that's in there. Plus, we got almost $200,000 for the bond for all these buildings and stuff. So, you know, you're talking like 10% of the town's budget is stuck on bonds, and we can't use that money.
Well, the buildings are almost paid off. I mean, they got like 7 years left.
7 years is not today. Today is the issue.
I understand. That's why spending down the fund balance is even more, you know, important not to.
I mean, I tried to do the calculations today. The fund balance will still be just at the 25%, the low level, and that's without adding in whatever is left over at the end of this year that will get added to the fund balance. So we'll be above the low level of the policy, if that makes a difference in your...
I just think that we're spending down too much.
Well, if that's the case, because our original goal was trying to keep it at around 500. 25% was the least amount, but we're just under 25%. If the calculation, would you have exactly?
I'm saying, I don't know exactly what the number is.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's right at around the 25%, and when we add in whatever is left over at the end of this year to the surplus, it will be over it. We'll probably be around 30 to 32% or so.
With the surplus.
Yeah.
And we're changing, according to what Mike said, he talked to the tax collector, and we're gonna get the money earlier than we did in the past. Typically, we got the money, March and stuff like that. So that will then cover some of the earlier expenses that we would incur. It's covered in the budget as taxes coming in, so it's not a change to the budget numbers.
Can I make a suggestion? This obviously isn't going to be for this year, but maybe going on forward. Something that I'm able to do with my property down in Florida that they have a program where they start, breaks down 4 payments for our residents, that they start getting the money in early. It's a small discount. Well, I start paying, I think it's the first payment goes in like June of this year, right on out, and then the balance would be done at the end come March. on that is, trying to propose something. Obviously, it's not gonna happen now, I get it. But, that might be a good way to get the revenue that's put aside for, next year, and we're already starting ahead a little bit and offering a small discount. And it's a payment plan with people that already, that don't have, mortgages anymore, like myself down there, where it's basically, an easy way to just put in, X amount of money broken up into 4 payments. And that might help this down going forward, but I know it's not helping us right now, but it's just a suggestion.
I think you're gonna have to get state law changed to incorporate that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I
The only
don't-
thing you can do right now is pay once when it's due and half of it 2 months later or something, depending on school district or town, whatever it is, but
Yeah, I'm not
that's
sure
it.
the
That's
legality.
the only
I'm just saying
options we
it's-
have,
I don't know
so.
if we have
The
something,
law does not allow split payments for town taxes.
even like
No.
early in New York State?
Nope.
Okay, well, it's then, okay then.
So,
So, for this year, I mean, we had made a commitment when we were doing last year's budget, that is 2021's, that we would take 2 years to do all the salaries for the town, to bring everybody back to where they should be. We did a good chunk of it last year. We did a very big chunk of it this year. So yeah, it's a problem for this year's budget. It makes it really tight. But now moving forward, now we have the base and we have, the tax cap will go up next year and it's already built in now. We're not going to have these salary issues hopefully moving forward because we've now got everybody on par with each other. So yeah, it makes it tight this year. But in subsequent years, it should even itself out.
And the amount we're spending of surplus is not much different than in other years. So we're not going crazy in that respect. If you go back to 2019 and 21 and all, you look at the totals.
Well, I know.
This year, we spent a lot because we had a lot of programs and stuff that you guys all wanted. We put it in and we got it. But this year, we did
I
the
mean,
same
I
thing.
know when I sat and I talked to Carol this afternoon, and, she kind of pulled back of what some of the previous years were. But I do echo just in caution, I think, with Dean on the one issue, I guess looking at, we have a lot of what-ifs happen next year, and that is more and more, I thought about that. I think we're on par right now for another recession coming in, or some sort of change that's going to have there's got to be a correction coming. And the question is, how does that relate to, like, the sales tax revenue that we're estimating in, the sales of properties? What if more of them are paid cash for the properties? We've seen that happen, that we lose some of the mortgage tax on that. And yeah, I mean, these are all what ifs, and it could go the other direction too.
Yeah.
But then we'll be trying to figure a shortfall next year.
I mean, obviously, the revenue is always, well, all of it, most of it is an educated guess. And the revenue, though, the revenue still is a conservative, like, we take our guess and we still made it conservative, lower than what we think it will be.
I mean, we're going from 875,000 of fund balance to 315,000. That's a significant amount of money. And again, my point is that it's not an emergency that we do what we're doing. There are some things that we definitely should do. Obviously, we've been talking about it, and we need to do, but the fund balance is really an emergency fund, the way I look at it. Something breaks, we need to replace it, we have the money. We need to pay the bills, we got the money. We keep on spending down this fund balance, we won't have that emergency cushion. And that's the concern. And I keep on saying that I see that the interest rates are going to go up, things are going to slow down. If the inventory doesn't start coming back in, as far as cars and parts and labor and, lumber and everything else, there may be a recession just for the fact that nobody can buy anything. I mean, they're already talking about, what's going to happen with food and, lack of inventory on the shelves and.
Well, we're already seeing that. We're starting to see.
We're
again,
seeing it now, but
and I am
it's
seeing
supposedly
that
getting
with my
worse.
business.
So
I
I would have 2 things to say. Number one, I think we are in a bit of an emergency when it comes to our employees. We have been seeing,
I didn't say that.
I know you didn't, I know you didn't, I'm saying it. You're saying it should be spent on an emergency, and I think we are in a bit of an emergency with our employees. We have gotten every department telling us that they are unhappy because they're not getting paid what they should, and that we're losing people, we're having trouble finding people. This is an emergency for the town. We have a labor shortage for the town, and it's not because people don't want to work, it's because we're not willing to pay what they're worth. The second one that I would say, and I just lost my train of thought. The second thing that I would say is that we're told, you've made it very clear that we can't ever go over the tax cap. We can't raise the tax rate, but now we can't spend fund balance. It puts us in a really tight corner. There's a lot of what we can't do there, and not what we can do to fix this problem.
Well, again, I do not disagree. We had a meeting, the four of us, as to salaries and where they should be, and we agreed upon those salaries. I don't necessarily think that we have to raise our salaries as an elected official, so there's an alternative. If there's anything else that we can cut, there's an alternative. I agreed on the salaries with everybody else when we had our little meeting back in August. And I don't begrudge the fact that there are some people that are way behind as far as getting paid. And for the facts specifically, when we're talking about, the building department and the zoning, as far as the building inspector and the zoning enforcement officer, where other towns are paying much more than what we are, we absolutely have to do that. But along the lines with everybody else, I agree. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're spending a lot of money, we're leaving ourselves very tight, and we're making projections to kind of fit the numbers. And that's what I don't like.
My only comment is, why didn't you object 2 months ago when you saw the revenue stream, saying that it's unrealistic?
What do you mean 2 months ago? We haven't had a budget since August, whatever date it was.
Well, that's 2 months.
It's almost 3 months by the time you gave it to me. But the thing is, we didn't even talk about the salaries until after that thing, and then we talked it in and we said, put the numbers together, let's see how it comes out. That's the end of the conversation was, we got to see how much over. I was an objection to it too.
Well-
I was objecting to it then. I disapproved even going over the tax cap. I've been objecting the whole time, Ray, so you can't say I
know
didn't
you
object.
I know you object, but why didn't you object to a specific number rather than in general saying, we stay under the tax cap, we don't increase
I've approved going over the tax cap
we've done
every
it.
so often.
I know.
As a general rule, I don't want to, but, when I'm looking at the county who's cutting everybody's taxes by 10%, and here we're talking about spending more. Originally, you had 18 or 19% increase. I mean,
Some of that was an error in my mathematics of going through that.
I'm just
I
saying
caught.
that opens up a little, light that says, hey, we got to slow down here.
The only thing, Dean, and
I mean, you guys can override me. That's fine. It's just that, I'm just pointing out, I'm concerned about it.
And I would say that I share your concern. Like, I don't like that the fund balance is gonna get really low, but I do believe that this is a necessary budget right now. And so next year, yeah, we tighten our belts when these projections turn out to be a little low and we get more revenue than we think we're gonna get, we put that into the fund balance. We make sure that we tighten our belts next year and we build it back up. That's always the plan, is to build it
We
back
know
up.
that if we do a full town reval, it's gonna cost close to $500,000 unless we do that other process, which was to hire somebody, which now we've taken it out of the budget.
can't do it.
And so even at that, it's gonna cost us $150,000 doing it that way. That's not planned for, we're, again, it's gonna be quite a bit of money for us to complete the 8 years of doing the zoning revision, and we're not planning for that either. I just think we're cutting ourselves short.
Well, let me ask this, and I'm going to say something that's not going to be a popular thing, because I do agree. I think we all agreed coming into this budget cycle in the beginning that there were certain things that we kept kicking the can. I don't want to say kicking the can, but it's just there's way through virtue of several years in the past coming there salaries. I said publicly several times that it's something that we gotta correct it over a 2-year period. I think it's the right thing to do. So the question is, I mean, and we've been very good, I mean, the board before me, before I got on here, you guys been on here, done very well with keeping the budget down and under the tax cap. So the question is, I mean, either A, we go on all of us elected salaries and cut some of it out, and I don't know how much we can actually save to get back on there, or do we, I'm gonna say this is the unpopular part, is go over the tax cap to keep the fund balance on a small percentage point to try to, if that works out, to keep a little bit of the fund for some of this emergency stuff that we got to plan for, or that might come up if you feel that 350 is too low. And so we got two options. We can cut back on the elected part. I'm fine with that if we have to find somewhere on that end to do it for our constituents. I guess it's we all tighten our belts together on this to try to move forward, or it's a combination of both. Or do we take our chance? I mean, it's tough because as a taxpayer myself, and I'm speaking out to everyone here, we don't want to see the taxes go up. And the board over this past several years has done, I thought, a pretty good job before I was on the board as an elected official and as a resident, which I'm very appreciative of. But we're trying to get the town back into the 21st century on what we need, and I'm hoping that next year that we don't have to deal with a lot of this salary issues. My concern there are certain parts of these buildings and maintenance and stuff on top of what Dean has said, just with the reval, which is a big cost, the attorney's fees for some of the laws coming in there are gonna be a cost that we're kind of cutting back on. Maybe there's a little extra in the surplus that comes. This is stuff that the town will benefit the town long-term. Right now, we're always looking short-term to get over the hurdle. So the question is, what's the best way to, maybe we gotta start thinking beyond this budget, and is it the sacrifice that we make of staying below the tax cap, or cutting salaries back, or running with the budget as it is and flipping a coin saying, is it gonna be better? Or is it gonna be worse? And as a business owner, I'm always scared because I look at the fact, I'm seeing again, I agree with Dean, the supply chain is broken. It's majorly broken. I'm fighting every day. What I spend most of my days is trying to locate parts. Sooner or later, we're going to start seeing that. We go into stores. You go into stores right now and you look, the shelves are getting empty again. I mean, this is something I never would have thought I would have seen in my life. So these are real issues that are going to affect. The housing market is slowing up, and it's going to slow up a little bit. So as far as that goes, some of our deductions. So I'm just proposing, saying a couple things that I'm willing to do, either we cut salaries back. I don't want to cut back the town employee salaries. I think we've had a tough time. I think a lot of our issues we're trying to figure out for different salaries and trying to find qualified people, and every day in the real world of the normal business people or the residents, we're all seeing that, trying to find people to do the jobs. So I think either the cuts, we got to come back and say we take some of ours back, a little bit of percentage of that, or do we ride, a little bit over, which I know is unpopular. I'm a fiscal conservative by nature, but I understand the need for planning and trying to correct it this year, so we're not pushing it anymore, and then we can stick to the plan, have a 1 year or 2 year, and then that 5-year plan long-term within the town that's going to benefit the town give us a much better financial stability for the future to come.
This is a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It really is.
And I think I agree with everything you said, and it is pretty scary where the economy is going to end up. But I am adamant that we need to stick at least with the non-elected people in this town that work for us. We need to stick with the increases that we agreed upon, all right? It's not just a case of finding good people. We have good people, but it's just unfair when you look beyond this town and how low we are. And even with what we're planning on doing, we still don't have parity completely across the board, okay? But it's the right thing to do. So I don't have the answer, but that's my input. We cannot cut that, all right? Now, the only other way is to look at elected officials, but I'm not so sure that that's the right way to go either, okay? Because it's the same thing. They just don't have a choice, you know?
I mean, in fairness, and I'm gonna say this other part, because I've been vocal to a couple of the people on the board here. You know, the board, for the amount of hours that we put in here for the 4,800, and I didn't take this job for the money, I don't need that money, that $4,800 is not gonna make or break me at the end of the day. I do it because as a community member, I wanna see our town thrive and, you know, be financially, stable. But at the same time, some of the positions have been raised, and the board, you know, last year, what did I say? The first thing I said, we're not as board members, we should not take, because of COVID and everything else going on, we shouldn't take anything, and we didn't even take the 2% last year. We didn't even, we said, that's not happening. I do think, you know, and I'm not going after any other position on here, I'm just saying, but we did bump up the supervisor, we did bump up the, Carol's position on there too, and at that point, I mean, we gotta make the hard decisions. Like I said, I said last year, I wanted to try to think of a 2-year plan. Some of that was within the town board side, and the other part was with the, general fund employees, I guess we can say it. But there's a clear, you know, we've been, you know, at the bottom for a while too.
It's a gamble.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
the tax rate last year was, I gotta see it here,
21.
221, and this year it's 208, and we're 2,000 under the cap. We can go, say, 10,000 over the cap, the rate goes up a smidgen. There's no penalty to go over the cap, I'll tell you that right now.
No, I know that. I understand that.
Nobody comes down.
No,
The only thing it is,
We just try to be fiscally conservative with our
yeah, I'm just
with our
saying, the
neighbors.
tax cap is a mirage, okay? It's out there, but it doesn't do anything. At most people will get a 6-pack of beer of money if we stay under it in money back. So it's not a big swinger in their budget or anything else. So, you know, you can go up a little bit more on tax rate, take a little more money there, you'll go over the cap, which we can do, but we gotta decide what we're doing, because I gotta send a report in.
As
Are
it
we
stands
over or
right-
under?
As it stands right now, I think there was a 6% cut in the tax rate this year, which I'm sure everybody would appreciate, but I mean, even if it was, I don't know, a 3 or 4%, 3% cut, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Something's better than, you know,
they'd still have a cut, and
We
it
could
would
split
it
the
would give us a
difference.
little more cushion.
and just reduce the unexpended balance. Give me a number and we'll recalculate it. That's 5 blocks in the equations to touch, that's
Yeah.
all I do.
Because the other thing that, why we're talking about this, that there's one salary which is gonna affect, is going, one of the positions that we're creating, I think we're just a little under to get the help that
Oh.
we need. So I just wanna say, because that's gonna affect this overall, that, it works out, you know, I'm thinking, you know, we should probably be about 21 on that position, which is $80, well, it's 20 hours. So you're talking $40 a week more over, the period.
It would be just over $1,000.
no.
Over the year,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shocking.
I'm sorry, just over
Is
$2,000.
it just over, I didn't,
We aren't gonna solve this by nickel and diming it. We're really not. Just
I just
not.
wanted to.
Well, we do want to talk about, I know that is something that, like,
But it affects the number.
I just think we need to decide, are we gonna be out there and just hope that nothing goes wrong? And if it does, what do we cut? What do we do?
Or, as I said,
Or
do you
we
want to
re-
increase the tax rate and go over the cap?
I
But
don't-
it's still
I don't
not
want-
going to increase taxes to the people.
I don't wanna do that
Well,
either.
I'm just,
well, increasing the rate, what we're saying is, but not go above where it was last year. So it would still be a tax cut for people,
oh, yeah,
Okay.
a tax rate cut.
yeah.
It just wouldn't
And
be
what
as
would
big of a
that-
cut.
What would that buy us in raw figures? Does anybody?
I don't know.
It's hard to do that.
Because what it does is you put the increase taxes and you decrease unexpended balance. So in other words, it nets out
Right.
to be the same expenditures. We didn't change any expenditures, you're just balancing out the three sources of revenue. That's all you're doing. But, you know, I gotta have something because we have, what, next Friday a week?
This Friday is the public hearing.
Oh, this Friday is the public hearing, so I gotta have something put together by Friday, which is tomorrow, because Thursday
Yeah,
we're closed.
Thursday, yeah.
Well, this whole process has been, and I don't, it doesn't matter what the reasons are, the whole process has been too tight. We really needed more time to work through this.
I had a good schedule, but I couldn't implement it.
Yeah, we can't point, at this point, we're not, it's not worth pointing for, we're.
All
we're
I'm
at-
saying
we're
is,
gonna
I
do what
had
we
a
gotta do.
schedule that I used
Yeah,
every year and it works, but
Yeah,
this
I'm
one,
just saying in general,
I was
just, you know,
cut.
we're here now, so we gotta deal with it. It shoulda, coulda, would've been nice, but it doesn't matter at the big scheme of things. And I guess we can go around the table and get our opinions on it. I mean, the question is, what would that number be if we split that difference, so at the end of the day, it's not a tax increase? You know, they're not gonna see an increase
Right.
on it, so at least we're, holding, and if we have an idea, that gives us a little bit of room. I mean, if it's negligible, then I don't know if it's, maybe.
I was trying to do some quick calculations to see. The taxable assessment is 810,572,235. So if we did, this is literally just if the tax rate was 215, I think it
that's
was
sort of the split the difference.
1742, so we would probably gain about $80,000.
So the tax cap would go up by 70-something,
Yeah.
and
That's if it was
the
212.
unexpended balance would go up by 80.
Go down,
Would go down, yeah,
go down by 80.
go down by 80.
That's if we made the tax rate $2.12, which is still
Let's say
9 cents lower than it was last year.
So that's talking 70,000, that brings it back into the,
Oh,
general fund.
absolutely.
So, Dean, let me ask you, would that, I mean, I know it's not something that we would normally wanna I wouldn't even wanna bring up to do, but if it's not acting as a tax increase to our residents, and they're still splitting, they're still getting a savings on that, and we're able to keep some of that money to have that cushion to do some of that other stuff, or in the event of emergency, then we can use that, such as the laws, the legal fees and stuff like that.
I mean, every little bit helps. I mean, 80,000 is 80,000. I mean, it's just, you
And
know,
then we're keeping up, so then we're bringing up the general fund balance goes back in there 70, 80,000, so we're at now from 350, we're over 4.
Yeah.
At least has a little cushion.
And I can't,
We still have a lower tax rate.
I can't see that it's that much, but,
Well, I just did the taxable assessment, 810 million.
right.
Times-
3 cents.
Yeah, well, I did the $2.12 tax rate.
Well, I'm just saying if you do
Times it.
3 cents,
Oh, that was 4 cents, but yeah,
or 4 cents, right, to go up to 12.
yeah. So that brought it to like 1,742,000, which is about, sorry, I can't do math at the moment in my head, but 90, 50, yeah, it's almost 70,000.
Which just means the unexpended balance goes up that amount because taxes went. I mean, goes down and
Yes, the
the
taxes go up.
taxes go up. It's just a seesaw.
But it's still a lower tax rate than what
Right.
people are paying now.
Oh, yeah. Because there's more dollar value
Yeah,
of assessment.
But how does that keep us under the tax cap?
it doesn't
It
keep us
doesn't.
under the cap.
Right, okay, that's what I'm,
What's the most sacred of the sacred cows? The rate, the cap, the unexpended balance? We gotta choose one, I think.
yep.
I would increase the tax rate.
And still keep it below last year's.
Yeah. If, you know, if you're that adamant of doing it, we'll do it that way.
And the tax cap is really irrelevant because the taxes are going down
Yeah.
essentially for our taxpayers.
They'll get more money by getting taxes back than they will by staying under the cap. It's always been the case. It's a false income to most people.
Yeah.
That's an option.
Well, is that the way you want to go? I mean, I'll make the motion with that change, and we'll crank out the things tomorrow morning so that Carol can have it for the public hearing.
There's one other small issue that I know Chris brought up. The new building clerk position we're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
you
so-
can talk about it.
So the problem is, we put in the budget for 19, it's a part-time position, $19 an hour. I think we were planning on trying to find someone and have to train them in that, for that to go there. The problem is, compared to some of the other towns,
Even more than that, Chris, I think from our 4 conversations, the 4 of us,
too low.
we said that all clerks would be at least the
Yeah.
21.
yes,
So not even talking about
okay, I mean,
all that other stuff, I think that's really what the job called
We
for to begin with.
revised that.
So the
Yeah.
21 would add $2,000 about,
Exactly.
if we're saving 70,000 or so here in the tax cap, it should be okay.
So you take 2,000 out of the 70 to something
Yeah.
thousand.
So if that line was $21, that's a change.
That's-
Now, do we have, not to beg the issue, do we have a job description of what we're talking about hiring this person? Because the one I saw was totally inadequate, but,
yeah, well, we're still, right now,
Well, we'll have that.
we'll have that.
We'll have that.
Before the person's hired, hopefully.
Yeah, of course we'll have it before the person's hired.
Well, let's see, have it, we'll
That
have
would be
that.
trying to be approved for December's meeting at that point.
Right, that's what we had planned on,
Yeah.
approving
well,
this.
you also
in-
said January too, earlier.
Yeah, I think realistically, we can get it done by December. I think
No,
we'll
we
be
didn't do
okay.
any more on it because the decision wasn't made, but.
And we're trying to deal with the
We can do it
budget.
for the December meeting.
Yeah, that was my plan. what
And
I-
they still need to give 2 weeks' notice,
Right. It isn't
Exactly.
gonna start till
so
January
it
anyway.
won't start until January.
No. Okay, so you want to take the building
It's,
secretary?
Page 7.
62013.
Yeah,
120,
from $19 to what, 20?
21.
21.
21.
So it's in
Okay.
line with all the others.
Okay,
It's on page 7.
okay. And then we change the tax rate from 208 to 12. So those are the only changes? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I had.
Okay, I'll make the motion then, and we'll move on, because I gotta, get all this done tomorrow. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the 2022 preliminary budget and will hold a hearing on said budget on Friday, November 12th, 2021 at 6:30 PM at the Clinton Town Hall. The changes being made are the building secretary increase pay from $19 to $21 and increase the tax cap, the tax rate from $2.08 to $12. $2.12. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. So that's what the new one will look like. So we're done with this issue. I'm just gonna put it up here out of the way. Is it the right time to start?
Yes.
Okay, let me get your program here. Okay, you ready for the next session? Oh, I gotta make a motion I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The budget meeting is concluded. Now we start on the regular town board meeting. I make a motion, I call to order the regular town board meeting on November 9th, 2021. Please rise and we'll pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, please be seated. Okay. Now we'll approve the minutes of the meetings. And there's a bunch of them, so hang in there as we go through it. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 12th, 2021 public hearing, opt-out cannabis smoking parlors. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 12th, 2021 public hearing, tax cap override. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Oops. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 12th, 2021 town board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 20th, 2021 special town board meeting on ARPA funds. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Aye. Oh, no, sorry.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 26th, 2021 special town board meeting executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 30th, 2021 special town board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 1st, 2021 highway workshop meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, now we're through that. Next one is public discussion period. Is there anyone that wants to talk on agenda items that we have in the budget? Okay, I'll get there. I just want to open it up for you, that's all. I make a motion to open the meeting to public comment. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, hop up here and give your name and your street, and try to keep it to 3 minutes.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mary Pat Sternberg. I live on Grissom Place in Salt Point. I am also the Vice President of the Clinton Community Library Town Board of Trustees. Tonight, I'm here to speak to you as a representative of the Library Board of Trustees about our lease and the town board's proposed change. Last month, Council Member Whitten read our letter specifically asking you to reconsider your proposed $1,800 charge and keep the $1 per year fee in the lease as we have for the past 45 years. We had expected to receive a written response which would have outlined your thinking, but none was received. After watching your October meeting, we came to understand that you have questions and misunderstandings about the library, and I'm here to address what we heard. First, we are not a business, just like the town is not a business. The library is a nonprofit organization that provides educational services, programs, and resources. In 2017, Town of Clinton residents overwhelmingly passed the 414 proposition directing a portion of their town taxes to be used to fund the library. Some of you are asking to reduce our funding by an arbitrary amount of $1,800, an amount not derived by using any metrics or comparative methodology. The Clinton Community Library is the second lowest funded library in Dutchess County, and any further reduction of income only reduces our ability to serve our community. Today, the library has 1,613 cardholders. That number continues to increase monthly, driving an increased demand for books, programs, and services. The library has doubled the number of adults and children served through its programs and has seen a 76% increase in visits and loaned out 54% more materials over the past 5 years. The Library Board of Trustees invite you to meet with us, face-to-face and board-to-board, directly communicating with each other to resolve this impasse. We will share with you our 5-year budget plan and how your proposed increase negatively impacts library patrons, staff, and programming. It is the goal of the library board and library staff to provide the town residents with the library they want and deserve. I am sure you all want that for our town. We look forward to meeting in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then we'll close this session. I make a motion to close the public comment section, close public comment and return to the regular order of business. Is there a second?
Second.
Any, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay. Now, it's supervisor's comment time. I don't have too many to say, but I think some of them might be important. The Fiddler's Bridge Road Bridge is planned to be open by mid-December. That's been slipping, okay? If the weather does not cause construction problems and delays. When it opens, we will put it on the town webpage, so you'll know about it. Maybe even send it out on our MailChimp to those that are registered so that they can work on it. The Veterans Day holiday this coming Thursday has town offices, court offices, and highway departments are closed. The library is open as usual. The Thanksgiving holidays are closed on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, November 25 through 27, with the town offices, court offices, and highway department being closed. The library is closed on Thursday and Friday, November 25, 26, and is open on Saturday, November 27th with the usual hours. The recycling center will be open 7:30 a.m. to noon on Saturday, November 27th. At this time, I'm turning over this comment section to Councilman and Town Supervisor-elect Michael Whitten to solicit candidates for various town boards and committees.
Thank you. The town of Clinton is accepting letters of interest for town-wide boards and committee appointments for 2022. Positions include membership on the Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, Board of Assessment Review, Conservation Advisory Council, Recreation Committee, Scenic and Historic Roads Committee, the Cemetery Committee. Letters of interest with contact telephone numbers and related experience should be sent to Town Supervisor-elect Michael Whitten by email at whittentownboard@gmail.com. That's WHITTON, townboard@gmail.com. Or by mail to Town Supervisor, Town of Clinton, 1215 Center Road, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572, by Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. Interviews will be scheduled for early December at the Town Hall. For any questions, call the Town Supervisor's office at 845-266-5721, extension 105 in the mornings, Monday through Thursday, or his secretary at 845-266-5721, extension 130.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we move smartly along. Planning Board report.
Alrighty, first meeting of the planning board since our last meeting was October 19th, in which one applicant on 313 Allen Road was requesting an area variance for an accessory structure which exceeds the allowable footprint. There are certain laws or regulations in our town that say that the accessory structure should be 30% of the main structure, and this was going to be in violation. So one of the things that they did was they merged two buildings into one, which caused a little bit of a violation. Anyway, it's a 47.81 acre parcel in a AR5. The building permit. It was agreed that the two structures needed to be fixed as to its violation, and it received a positive recommendation. The second item was for a non-hosted short-term rental at 5 Lake Drive, in which the applicant is utilizing a guest cottage for the non-hosted short-term rental. The parcel is at 10.65 acres, and a special permit was granted for the accessory dwelling in 2020. Property owners want to use that for the short-term rental. The board declared itself a lead agency, and a public hearing was set for November 16th, and no further action was taken that night. The next item on the agenda was a lot line adjustment. It's a little bit complicated because the parcel overlaps 2 towns. So the property owner wished to convey a parcel which was in the town of Pleasant Valley to his neighbor, and also likewise merge 2 lots into one. And the new lot would have included 3 tax parcels, one of which is in town of Pleasant Valley and the other 2 in town of Clinton. One parcel is technically landlocked, and the board kind of suggested that they could unapprove the subdivision, but because there was a little complication, they had to go to the county to find out what they needed to do. So the property owner needed to contact the county, and the board has taken no action at that point. Later that night, they also discussed short-term rentals and how it's time to start enforcing the new regulation, because not as many people have applied as should have. I think we're guessing somewhere between 90 and 100 short-term rentals in the town, and I don't think we have even half that many that have even applied. So I think the zoning enforcement officer, I think, has a list, because we paid for that county service, that he should send out a letter to all of them saying that they have a certain amount of time to comply or start receiving fines. That's the end of the report.
Thank you. Okay, Conservation Advisory?
ZBA?
ZBA.
ZBA.
I was going to start reading it, and then I said, I'll let you announce it first.
Okay.
The ZBA met on October 28th. The first item on the agenda was at 580 Clinton Hollow Road, in which the applicant requested an area variance for a sideline setback reduction from 50 feet to 10 feet. The board said that there was no other feasible area to the placement of a 24 by 36 garage, and therefore granted the variance. The next item on the agenda was at 313 Allen Road, which an accessory structure was allowable in the footprint per the definition of building. An accessory that states an accessory building other than an agricultural use shall not be larger. So this was talked about in the planning board. So that the board, made a decision at that point that everything was in line, and they made the exception, so they passed the variance. The next item on the agenda was an interpretation of something that was brought up earlier from the puncher interpretation, and the appellant is, I think it's applicant, anyway, is seeking a reversal of the zoning administrator's determination letter on May 18th regarding the interpretation of section 250-28B and J and the Town Clinton Code and activities related to smoke, fumes, and odor. It was noted that the public hearing was closed at the September meeting. The board discussed and agreed that they needed more time to go over all the documents, and the decision was made that they would make a decision at the December meeting, so no action was taken. And that's the end of the report.
Okay, thank you. Next one, CAC.
CAC met on October 13th in the Masonic Hall. They discussed progress in the Pollinator Pathway Project and received an update on the activities of the Climate Smart Task Force. Jean McAvoy updated us on our progress with the benchmarking program, including some data entry issues with the website that we use for the reporting. Eleanor Peck from NYSERDA has arranged a meeting with Gene to solve the problem. A discussion about updating the CAC portion of the town website was had, and changes should be appearing in the coming months. End of report.
Thank you. Climate Smart Task Force?
The Climate Smart Task Force met on October 26th in the Masonic Hall and via Zoom for those that couldn't attend in person. Jean McAvoy updated the task force on the status of the benchmarking work, has a follow-up with her discussion with Charlie Canham and Richard Marshall. She also updated the task force on her contact with Melissa Karchmer and Todd Martin of the Town Highway Department regarding the collection of town vehicle data. The task force discussed moving forward with a plan in collaboration with the Town Highway Department to migrate to electric vehicles as older Highway Department vehicles have reached the end of their useful lives in the coming years. Ongoing discussion occurred regarding the consideration and planning of a Town of Clinton Green Fair for homeowners and members of the community, with Jack Pursley taking the lead in this initiative. It was agreed that this event is being envisioned as an outdoor activity at the Cranmark Pavilion. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 23rd.
Recreation Committee?
Recreation Committee did not meet in November. We are planning an early December meeting, of which we will meet with the new committee. We'll do a tour of the rec parks so they see the facilities and understand, what we're dealing with for 2022. We will be creating a 2022 list of things that we have on this, to plan to do in the parks to better utilize them. And we'll also be planning a list that'll go from 2 to 3 to 5 years out to improve the parks even more, to allow more utilization. So that that'll be done before the next town meeting. End of report.
Thank you. Building Inspector, we'll go through his stats. Number of building permits issued, 16. Number of COs and CCs issued, 22. Number of title searches, 7. Total mileage by the building inspector is 201 miles. Total cost of construction is $1,087,623.60. That's attributed mostly to 2 major construction projects, which covers about $900,000 of the whole thing. The rest of it's 5,000, 1,000 little decks, modifying walls and stuff like that. So that's that one. Zoning Administrator, I have no report. Highway,
Sorry. The blacktopping project has been completed on Jameson Hill, Hibernia, and Hickory. Friends Park has also been completed. A request is being made for the highway material bid list for the 2022 highway season. Winter and snow reminder, as of November 1st through April 15th, there is no parking on all town roads. Please remember not to plow any snow into our public roads. Winter road preparation has been taking place on all roads. Leaf cleanup, hot patching, and shoulder repairs among the prep work. The equipment and trucks have also been receiving prep work for their winter season with repairs and replacements to allow for safe operation. Unfortunately, it's become increasingly difficult to find parts and supplies. Thank you to all the town residents who took such care this summer to keep their property mowed. It makes it much easier for the highway department to perform roadside mowing. End of report.
okay. Scenic and historic roads,
No news is good news, I guess. Everything's been quiet.
okay. Library report,
The Library Board of Trustees met on November 8th, last night, via go-to meeting. New PC carrels have arrived. They will be installed as soon as a decision is made regarding the old desks. The Library Board is conducting a comprehensive review of library policies, including ethics, collections, library use, finance, FOIL, and gift policies. The updated policies were discussed by the board for future approval. There are several vacancies coming to the Library Board in January. If anyone is interested in doing and serving on the Library Board of Trustees, please contact, I realize I didn't write anything, please contact Carol Bancroft, Director of the Library. The next meeting will be held on December 13th at 6:30 p.m.
okay. Altis, Cablevision,
No correspondence and nothing to report.
that's good, then things didn't go up. Cemeteries,
There were no burials this month. Elliot Werner worked on 3 upcoming cremation burials, one at Schultzville and 2 at Pleasant Plains. arranged a deed transfer at Pleasant Plains, which is in progress, and did research on several existing family plots at Pleasant Plains. He is also investigating a stone repair at Pleasant Plains. End of report.
Okay, zoning revision.
Well, we were waiting until we're done with the budget, so do we want to schedule something, or do we want to wait until the new year?
New Year.
You're gonna run into a lot of holiday stuff for
I know,
December.
that's what I'm saying, between November and December, between Thanksgiving
January.
and Christmas, so we'll wait till the beginning of the year then.
Okay. Next thing is transmission lines. Nothing new from what I said before, so just be aware that they're going to be cutting trees and walking the power line to get ready for next spring's big push to start doing real work, taking the towers down and putting the poles up. Anything else from any of the board members on reports?
I did kind of omit this because we didn't have a formal report for the recreation people, but first of all, we're so appreciative of getting the blacktop done. It is just going to improve that park immensely. We are working on the implementation of the grant, and I'll be working with whoever my replacement is to update them on that, because most of the grant work is going to be done in the first quarter in Friends Park, and that'll be significant. We did, I know you had security down here, we did manage to purchase a couple of trail cameras, so we've got them in Fran Mark Park to try them out. There's a little bit of maintenance that we didn't anticipate, so before we spend any more money on them, we wanted to make sure that they satisfy the needs. And a quick update, still waiting for the basketball hoop combination to be delivered. We hope that will be next week. Unfortunately, it's not going to be in time for this season, but it will be installed so that it will be available. I also want to say that normally we close the park on the 1st of November. We've kept it open and we'll continue to keep it open as long as the weather permits. But once we have the first winter fall, we will close the park because we cannot maintain the park drive or anything else, and the liability and the problems you have with snow and ice are just more than we can sanction. So the park will close as soon as the weather gets bad. We'll keep it open as long as we can. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to old business, library lease.
So I'm just going to let the comments of Mary Pat Sternberg speak for themselves for tonight. The one thing I would add is that we are currently operating, the lease for the library is currently operating on a month-to-month of what their original lease was, and they paid their $1 for a year back in April, so there's really not much urgency because their lease is not up until this coming April. So we have some time.
So can I say something? So after listening, I would personally be willing to set up a board meeting where we can sit down and talk, or, we can work out something either publicly or whatever on that.
Well, it has to be publicly if we're meeting.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, I'm for hearing out and working, see if we can resolve the issues and whatever.
And
I think it's really a sad situation because there's really two forces, each thinking, they're doing the right thing. And I know I can speak for the board. There is no one on the board that is against the library, doesn't appreciate what the library is doing, doesn't understand the far-reaching support that they have for the community. But if you were here for the previous meeting, you know that we're struggling with making the budget work and all of the increases. So the board is trying to balance both. But I'm telling you, the board is very, very happy to have the library doing what they're doing. So if we could reach a compromise, unfortunately, I won't be around to see it, but I'll keep watching. Okay.
Okay, so see you next month.
Yep. Well, I guess we could also say, Not that I don't want it to be in public, I'm not trying to hide anything, but if individual town board members wanted to meet with members of the library board, it doesn't necessarily have to be on camera and in public. They could do that.
Just schedule it.
Just call them up and schedule it.
Okay.
Because I obviously know what they're going to say, so.
Well, I met with the library board 2 years ago, and I went into the board meeting, so I've been there.
Yeah. Okay, discuss townwide reval.
Well, I don't know. What's the discuss? You didn't want to fund it, so, I mean, we could still send out an RFP to get a price so that everybody knows. I can just delay what the dates are, so I just need to know a date to put on the RFP. I sat down with the assessor on Saturday because she was sick the previous Saturday. So we spent all morning filling out all the numbers that I needed to complete the report. So it's technically done. I just need to know dates. So I could make, starting in December or starting in January, making it a date in the future as to when we would be awarding the contract, and whether we did or not would be another thing, but we can at least get, an idea of the price. What I was going to do is two prices, one for the whole commercial and residential, and then one just for the larger farms and commercial, and ask for two different prices. So that's what I was going to ask for an RFP, so that we could break it up to see which way was better, whether we did the whole thing all by one company, or we do the other plan B, which was to hire a deputy and then have them do all the data collecting on the residential side, and then just hire somebody for the commercial side. So what's your pleasure? I mean, give me a date and I'll start it as of that date, or we'll just postpone it until next year.
The thing I'm concerned about, we don't have a real plan, okay? You just have two directions to go, but you don't have a plan. For example, if you hire somebody to do the commercial stuff, okay, whatever you call that. What's the plan to do the rest of the stuff?
We already discussed that,
We
right?
did
So
have a
the
plan.
plan is to hire a deputy, have
Yeah.
them do all the data collecting, and then between the data collector deputy and Teresa, they would keep 100% of the residential, but Teresa didn't feel that she could do a whole town reval without any help, number one, and number two, with the commercial and the large farms, and now these farms that are acting as ag centers, and so she would feel more comfortable having somebody more professional who does this to analyze places like Cornerstone, the farms, the Stewarts, and so on and so forth. And then she would feel comfortable, if she had help, to have a deputy. So that was the plan. So we all agreed upon Plan B, which was to hire the deputy, which we've taken out of the budget, and then hire a contractor to do the assessment for just the commercial and large farms. That was what the plan was. I can still get the RFP so we know the numbers. I just need a date.
So I would say that I agree with going for the RFP just to get the numbers, because it's difficult for us to plan for future budgets if we don't know what it is.
Exactly.
I'd put a date on it as late next year, so,
So
it would be a more accurate number at least for when we could pay for
I've
it.
already kind of plotted out a date.
Yeah,
So starting in January, we would start the RFP process with an award sometime like August, September. So that would give us basically an idea, probably somewhere around May, June, as to what their numbers are going to be.
and then if we can't do it, then
And then we can put it into
figure
our
out how to-
budget and then plan for next year and just
Yeah.
change the date.
I think that's a fine plan.
So the RFP would be for everything? We're gonna try to do two separate RFPs, or
Well,
we're gonna try to do?
once they have the data in, it's easy to split out just the commercial side. So
Yeah.
I've collected all the data as to the total parcels and everything else. So the one RFP would be, how much would you charge to do the whole thing?
Yeah. and that's
Then
the other-
how much would you just charge for the commercial and large, estates and so on?
Fine, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so I'll put together the thing and I'll circulate it to everybody.
Okay, so should we put that down as a next month agenda?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. ARPA funding?
Alrighty. So the good news is, we got some stuff on here on the next page to approve some use of the ARPA funding. Trying to get creative and learn. We're still waiting for some updates on the use of spending it on certain things. They've been kind of dragging and the wording, they keep rewording the same stuff over. So hopefully by next month's meeting, I'll have a little bit more uses we can use it and a little more definition. But the good news is we are going to be starting to do some resolutions to start using it for some of the stuff in the town that we need to get done.
Okay, next one is highway heating system.
All right. So I've been working with Pete Sotero and Bob Travis about getting some bids or coming up with a bid process to do the heating system for the highway department. Waiting for Todd and Melissa to let me know if there's on the state bid for the units. Right now, that the estimation with doing all the work and at prevailing wage with the equipment is estimated to be around the $50,000 mark. There's some question on the number that we got to figure out if we're, how we're doing the RFP. Over 30,000 requires a formal bid, and we won't be there on install. So basically what we're looking at is we're cutting out, trying to get the equipment within the town and splitting it into two pieces. I'm trying to get creative and see if we can use it for the ARPA funds because our budget's tight here. There's another possibility, if we have to try to cut something back, we might, because there are two, we're planning on putting two of the same size units instead of going one bigger and one smaller. So we might be able to split the job into two pieces and at least give some help and use the limping along furnace that's there, which we might be able to cut the costs out. So once we get the idea of the availability for the equipment and everything else, so I'm hoping December, and Bob Travis will have a more formal bid for us to review and we can put out.
Splitting bids to be under a cap is illegal. I just make that
I'm not
comment.
saying split it. What I'm saying to do is, if we can't afford to spend and we can't use the money from ARPA for that, then we only do one part of it for this year. I'm sorry, it's going to be pushing into next year at this point. And then the following year we would do that. We're not splitting the bid by.
Well,
I understand what you're saying. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to split the bid to try to get the job. What I'm trying to do is budget if we only can do part of it in 1 year and then the second part the following year, but we'll have the provision already. The gas line's the big part bringing over from the one from the tank to the building. So once we have that, we can do the harder of the two jobs, and then we can do the other one on the next budget cycle. So that's all I'm saying. We're not splitting it to circumvent. We're just trying to split it to cut the budget if we have to pay out of pocket over a 2-year period. That's it.
Okay. Security update. I know you said something earlier. Is that all you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. I just didn't want to miss it.
We've got a remnants of security there, that's all. Certainly not what we need and not what I want, but we'll see how that works and then we'll move forward. I know that we're not going to be able to buy any fancy security system in 2022 based on the budgetary, concerns that there are, so we'll just make do with the cheaper cameras and maybe buy more of them and put them up in more locations, because they're only a couple $100 a piece.
Wow.
And we could actually take that out of the budget that we have.
It's a safety issue, should be qualified for ARPA.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Should be
So
qualified for ARPA.
We're planning on for the parks using some of that money for the broadband process. and
Right,
Trying to increase
that we
Plus,
are.
that'd be good for anyone who uses the park to have some sort of Wi-Fi capability and for safety as well. And then we can put the cameras, because the cameras, what we're paying for, are not much difference in price than the, for the ones that go Wi-Fi compared to the ones that we're buying right now for the trail cams.
We really need some technical advice on some of this, and I was thinking of going to the building inspector, who also has not for getting security from him, but getting some
Knowledge.
technical knowledge, so, because quite frankly, we don't have that. And if we're gonna invest in a really good system or tie them together.
To understand
So I
the
was thinking of
feasibility
going
of the working.
to Mike
Yeah.
and getting some of his, position on what we should get.
Fred may be able to help with that as well if we want it to be Wi-Fi. If we're improving the Wi-Fi at the park and we want it to
Right.
talk to the cameras, Fred may help.
Right. So what I intend to do is to write all this stuff up, give it to you, and also I'm assuming, maybe this isn't the right assumption, but I'm assuming that maybe Catherine would be taking that over. So I will give all the things that are outstanding to both of you.
Okay.
Okay. Next one is Story Hour Parents Petition for STEM Playground. We got the thing last month and we didn't have much time to do anything with it, so what,
Somebody was supposed to look up to see if we could even do anything because of the Iroquois
yeah,
property not having maybe some restrictions on building anything.
that was Dan and Nancy.
And I have to be honest, I have not done anything on
So
that.
that's the next
I
week.
can try to look at something before the end of the year. I mean, maybe we just do some
I'm just
cursory
trying to
stuff.
give them an answer. They asked us with a formal petition and
I'll-
I don't want it
I will
open.
try to give you some information, okay? I just don't know.
I think it'd be not, nice over here to have something, it's just a matter, I think the legality of the property would be the first thing of using that. Have something over here, we got the ballpark and kind of be used, get more people using the property and stuff like that, would be nice to see.
Yeah. As long as we're not talking about a full-blown park,
No,
that's all.
no.
Maybe a swing set and
Yeah, no
a few
swimming
benches
pool.
or something else, but, we've got too many needs for the parks that are existing already, so. I'll see what I can come up with, all right?
Okay, next month we'll hear you. Okay, this is approve the price increase for emergency purchase of a sander. Last month, the town board approved the purchase of a new available sander for one of our trucks. Unfortunately, we were informed by the vendor that the specific 2-yard sander was stolen from their property. They have a new 2.5-yard sander, and that'll fit, so that's not an issue there. That they will sell us for an additional $500 so we can complete outfitting the truck. They're taking a hit of $500 and we're paying $500, so it's we'll call it a negotiated price. So that's the story behind it. We need the sander because a truck without a sander is not that usable. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approve the additional funds of $500 for the emergency purchase of a sander from Hudson River Truck and Trailer for the 2019 Ford F-350 dump truck. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. Okay. SPCA contract.
So we received a new SPCA contract that's in here, I think, that you can look at it, and Shane Egan had,
Pretty much marked it up.
yeah, he had a lot to say. So
Yeah.
I received a copy of it midweek last week, and I put all the comments in a tracking changes document in Word, and I sent it to the SPCA. I've yet to hear back from him, so
So it's
I assume
next
this will
month.
be a December thing.
Yeah. The service doesn't run out until the end of December, so we still got time.
Yeah.
I just want people to realize that. Okay, that's old business. Going into new business. Okay. This is on town, Association of Towns training of new elected officials. In early January, the Association of Towns has training for newly elected town board members. This year, the training will be online training. Most of the time, it's done in Albany. So I make a motion to approve Catherine Mostello and Elliot Werner attending the Association of Towns virtual training for newly electeds training in January 2022 at a cost of $75 each. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay. Now, the next one is gonna be a little complicated, but I want you to all understand what we're doing. We're spending some of the money from ARPA to improve the town's ability to do searches and on documents and scan them and let the public also come right in and get it directly. They don't have to come through us. So that's what it is. There's a whole bunch of motions here because it's different companies doing different pieces on it. These purchases were approved by the town board during a previous ARPA meeting, and now I am getting each quote approved by the appropriate vendor, because that was just a generic spending. Now this is the detail. Let's see. Oh, wait, this is all the same? These are the same?
Yes.
Okay. I make the first one here is for scanning of documents, and there's a pile of them for the town. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the scanning of town documents by NYSID, which is a preferred source solutions, for an estimated cost of $53,550.50 and not to exceed $58,905 after actual scanning is done. This is an authorized New York State approved source, and the funds come from ARPA funding. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quotes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, just a little discussion here.
Yes.
They gave us an estimate, and that was the low number. They don't know what the real numbers are, because there's boxes and boxes. So I put a 10% increase, so that's what I put the upper limit for, to cover the actual count that
So-
will occur.
So my question to you is, and this was gonna be my question on here, from the estimates that when we approved ARPA, when we had our meeting on that, we're expecting it to go above those numbers that we approved?
No, the numbers you had these numbers.
Oh, they did have, okay, all right, I just want to be clear on that, okay,
No,
that's fine.
No. But I'm just telling you that they estimate drawers full of
Sure.
stuff, and they didn't count each one.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, the next one is General Code, or Laserfish, if you know the company. Is what they're doing is they're taking the data file from the scanners and converting it into the Laserfish format so that it's compatible with all the programs that we have already. I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves New York State Bid General Code CMS LLC to convert the previously scanned files to Laserfish for an estimated cost of $10,300.89 and not to exceed $11,331 after the actual conversion is done. The purchase is using ARPA funds. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quote. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Two different numbers just because actual counts.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, the next one is to go to the cloud system with Laserfish, which gives us the ability to have many more people on the system, so more secretaries or clerks could get into the system than we can do right now, and it's cheaper and it's easier to maintain, because if they put a correction in, they don't have to come down, send us a disk, we have to change it and all. They change it right in the cloud and clean it up. So that's the whole purpose of that. So I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of a Laserfish cloud system for $11,857 from New York State Bid General Code CMS LLC using ARPA funds. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quote. Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, the next one is to allow people from the outside to come in and actually be able to find documents that are available to them. Now, obviously, personnel records are not included and all, but, you know, the ordinary of business letters and stuff like that, that we normally get FOIL requests on, so we get out of that, some of that business. I make the motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of a Laserfish retrieval user with email and web link programs and support from New York State Bid General Code CMS LLC at a cost of $13,172 using ARPA funds. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quote. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, next one is, I gotta look and see which one it is. Oh, this is if we have to get FOIL requests. This enables the town clerk to easily get the data collected faster than she does now, because we get no money today in general for FOIL requests, because we don't give them paper, we give them disks or flash drives or whatever, but we still spend a lot of time finding all the documents. So this will help cut down that finding time. I make the motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of a Laserfish FOIL program from New York State General Code CMS LLC at a cost of $13,172 using ARPA funds. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quote. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just a quick question here, because I don't have my original notes, and I was just doing some math on here. This, when we approved the ARPA spending on the other meeting here, and,
It was 103,000.
yeah, and I couldn't remember the number, but right now, adding this one in, we're at 108,437. And then we're coming back, and then we got the last motion with another, so we're over that 103,000.
Unless I messed up on,
Well, I did notice that this motion that you just made and the previous
Same
one
as
are the
this.
same exact total.
whoops.
So I wonder
Oh,
if
did I
that's what.
type the wrong number in there?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
That's,
I
I just
got my
started,
sheet here.
Oh, all right.
I got my sheet here.
All right.
I'm just looking.
So this is probably the number you wanted.
Okay, foil, yes, okay. My mistake. Let's see, which one's the foil? This one.
Yeah, the one you just
Yeah,
said.
okay. Yeah, that's the wrong number. Sorry about that.
What's the correct number?
5,819
For the foil?
for the foil one. That's the one at the top of page 5.
what is that, a 5, I'm sorry, you're right.
5,819.
Yeah.
All right, now, let's see if that works, we'll change that number out here.
I mean, these are the numbers that you should have in there. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Motion carried. And then the last one is, this is to provide any local tech support that we need for individual people, clerks or whoever, to help out during all of this transition. And it's not for any one program, it's for all of them. So, you know, I'm not going to nickel and dime it into 4 pieces because I don't know what it'll be. So I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves payment not to exceed $1,500 to the town's IT consultant to assist locally in the installation of the aforementioned Laserfish programs. That includes training. The costs use ARPA funds. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And we're under the 103,000 by a few $100.
Okay. Yeah, one of them actually came down about $1,000 or something once we, later on here when we get to the
Yeah.
numbers. So that's why we had to get real numbers to go through this thing. Next one is to purchase 3 network switches. These are sole source purchase because they got to fit within the system that we have now. We can't redo the system to put these in. And we need 3, 1 for each of the 3 buildings here. And it couples all the internet together properly. Let's see, where are we on that? Okay, I make a motion that the town board approves the following resolution. Be resolved that the town board approves the purchase of 3 smart network switches from General Security for $5,246 to replace the outdated ones as needed to match the existing system requirements. Also, the town board approves an estimated $1,000 for the town's IT consultant to install. Both purchases are using ARPA funds. The town supervisor is authorized to sign the quote. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, into the chipper.
Did you want to do the annual meeting one?
Oh, the annual meeting one, did I miss? Oh, yeah, okay, my mistake. There's so many with my name, I've lost track. Okay, at the end of the year, let me get that sheet here, just so people know what I'm talking about. Okay, this special meeting, called the annual meeting, is held during the last week of December to balance the town's 2021 financial records and approve receivables, payables, encumbrances of 2021 funds received or paid in 2022. So it's a financial thing. So that meeting is an official meeting, so I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves setting the date for the annual meeting for December 28th on 2021 at 6:30 PM in the Clinton Town Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Now we're in the chipper.
The highway had to purchase a new wood chipper. So be it resolved that the town board approves the purchase of an XMB 120 Moore Bark 1415 wood chipper off of state bid from A. Montano Company Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $49,779.80. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
We are going out to bid for the highway department for things like culvert pipe, stone, gravel, sand, and a bunch of other stuff. So be it resolved that the town board approves the following resolution. The town board authorizes the town clerk to advertise for sealed bids for highway materials. The sealed bids are due by 10 a.m. on Monday, December 6th, 2021, and awarded at the regular town board meeting on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, to the lowest responsible bidders whose bids are not subject to change. Quoted bid prices are locked in for the duration of the contract and not subject to change for any reason, including fluctuations in the market.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, I have discussion. Are any of the items on that list available through Dutchess County bid? I've asked this before. This is not a surprise.
Can we have Todd Martin talk to us?
Yeah, sure. Come on, happy. Come on up.
Yes, some of those materials are under the county bid pricing, but some of them are not. We can piggyback off the county on some of them, so if we reject some of our vendors off the bid process for materials and stuff, we can still piggyback off the state and the county's bid pricing on that stuff. What we're doing is basically shopping with our vendors, trying to get the best and lowest prices possible.
Okay. I just want to be sure we
Yep.
understood what we're missing. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, let's see, steep slope. This bond is obtained from a homeowner on Center Road for doing work required by the planning board on steep slopes to ensure the work is properly done. The bond is returned when the work is satisfactorily completed. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the security agreement for steep slope and soil erosion and sediment control permits for parcel number 6468-00372264, setting the amount of escrow at $6,500, and it be further resolved that the obligation remains in full force and effect until the improvements are deemed completed by the town of Clinton and the obligators are released from liability as per the conditions of said agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next one is a road abandonment. More work must be done by the town engineer and town attorney to properly approve this requested abandonment of a part of Fourth Avenue. So no action will be taken at this time, and that'll be a next month issue. Okay, any more old business? Okay, off we go to resignations and appointments. Make a motion to appoint Vicky Hicks, Tim Lawler, Austin Burns, and Christopher Mariska as part-time wingman seasonal laborers at a rate of pay of $14 per hour each starting November 9th, 2021. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Make a motion to approve Kyle Mackin, groundskeeper, from 32 to 40 hours per week starting November 1st, 2021, due to the increased workload. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of warrants.
Make a motion, be it resolved, the town board approves the November 9th, 2021 general fund warrant vouchers number 473 through 518, totaling $163,875.82, and the November 9th, 2021 highway fund warrant vouchers number 229 through 262, totaling $244,847.57, and the November 9th, 2021 capital projects warrant numbering 1, totaling $17,395.63. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to move funds. I make a motion to approve the following resolution. It be resolved that the town board approves resolution number of 2021, a resolution to move funds at the November 9th, 2021 meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Okay, the next one is supervisor's report. I'll make a motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the town board approves the final report for October 2021. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Is anyone going to want to say anything in public next? If not, then we'll just skip this section of public comments. I see no hands. Okay, so we'll skip that and we'll go right to adjournment. I make a motion that the town board adjourns the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. See ya. When's the next time we're having a meeting?
Friday.
Friday, this Friday at 6:30.
Can't get rid of us then.
There's too many meetings. I can't keep up with them all. Okay, that's it.
All righty.